So, final episode of Goblin Slayer, and there will be a season 2, but we don't know when they will release it, and because of it, I'm quite excited. Now, Goblin Slayer, the first time I watched this series, I was so interesting. I was so attracted to it that I wanted to do a review for it, but I couldn't get the time. I didn't have the time to do it. I was so sad about it, but the final episode of Goblin Slayer, I've get the chance, and I have to say I'm loving the series. Now, this series gives us the right amount of horror, the right amount of tragedy, adventure, action, drama, and a little bit of romance. But if a series have too much horror, too much tragedy, it's gonna be too much overkill. And because of these series, because of those series, I don't like to watch horror or tragedy series or read about it, because if you have too much of those, the story is just gonna get depressing. And because the story is so depressing, what's the reason you're actually reading it or watching it? But Goblin Slayer put everything in balance, yes, because when the Goblin Slayer go after the Goblin King, yes, it was so immense. It was so good that I was so excited, because Goblin Slayer is so good. He can think like a goblin, and because he can think like a goblin, he come up with the best strategy to go up against the goblins. Now, when he was first fighting the Goblin King, he said he didn't have the strategy or didn't have the tactic to go against a goblin front to front or face to face, because he didn't attack goblin face to face. He used strategy, he used trickery, and because of this, it was quite excited, because he come up with a strategy to go up against crafty. Yes, these creatures, these goblins are crafty, and because they are crafty, he have to come up with a craftier strategy to counteract them. And because of it, Goblin Slayer show us that he wasn't all that strong. He didn't have any magical powers. He didn't have any big muscle. He used his strategy. He used his brain. He used his intellect to outsmart the goblins. And because of this, because he finally slay a Goblin King, he said he's gonna go out on an adventure. Yes, he wanted to be an adventurer. He wanted to go around the place, around the city, around the world to destroy the goblins. And at the end of the episode, the narrator was saying the gods treat the Goblin Slayer as a pawn, but this pawn is quite crafty, quite brilliant. He used his strategy to get where he is right now. He used his strategy to beat goblins, and because of this, the gods could not roll their dice. Yes, if you know, when you roll the dice, you have 1 to 6. So maybe 1 is weak power, maybe 6 is immense power, but because the gods didn't get the chance to roll these dice, the Goblin Slayer is getting stronger. I'm thinking in the future, he's maybe gonna get the platinum title. Yes, because maybe in the future, a goblin is gonna become the demon king. He's gonna become the demon lord. And if this happens, they're gonna need the Goblin Slayer to come there and destroy it. The Goblin Slayer party maybe is gonna get more stronger, and more people is gonna put more emphasis on the goblins, because they keep on underestimating the goblins. And because of this, one day they're gonna regret this. And because of it, the Goblin Slayer, everybody was so excited to see his face at the end of the episode, because this is the first time they ever saw the Goblin Slayer without his helmet. And the girls were quite quite charmed by the Goblin Slayer face, because they're saying he was quite handsome. And because of this, I wanted to see his face so much, but they cut his face in half. They're showing us half of his face. And because of this, I was saying, please, creators, show us the Goblin Slayer face for once. But they did not show us it. But it was still an amazing episode for the final episode of the series of Goblin Slayer, our season of Goblin Slayer. And I can't wait to see if they're gonna build a season 2 or when season 2 is gonna come out. So subscribe, like the video, Comment in the comment box if you feel like it. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again in future episode if they're gonna introduce it next year of Goblin Slayer Season 2.